Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the next episode of the Hard Mode Faction Wars series that I'm doing. So in today's episode, we have stages 4 to 6 available for the Ogryn tribes, and then of course we have 1 to 3 that are now available for the Skinwalkers. So this is probably the faction that I've been the most interested and most excited to do, just because, you know, it's pretty damn cool. So that being said, it is a bit interesting, the rotations that we have, like, you know, Ogryn's coming back around already, and they're ready to fight, even though we haven't even had, like, the Dark Elves open up a single time, right? Knight's Revenant hasn't opened up a single time. There's a couple of factions that we just haven't even got to yet, and we already have a secondary rotation on the Ogryns, but it is what it is, I suppose. That being said, today we're going to be able to get some goodies here as well if we continue through this. And then we are getting awfully close to doing another relic crafting here as well with our materials from the Faction Wars Hard. So let's go ahead and let's hop straight into this. So we have stage 1 of the Skinwalkers. Place 20 plus poison debuffs. This should be very easily done if you have a couple of options. So you have a Nishak that can do this, obviously. A Kemptum is going to be another fantastic option with his A1 essentially there. If you can get the hexes out, he can place poisons. You do have Steel Skull who can do it on an A1. And then perhaps most notably at an epic level, you do actually have Taurus that can do it as well, where he's placing 5% poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns. Absolutely insane poison champion. He can pretty much single-handedly set up any sort of like a poison combust team, which is just absolutely nuts, right? So he's crazy, but we do obviously have the Nishak that's able to do it. We do have to be careful here because we do have a lot of damage coming in on this team, and I think, as a matter of fact, already looking at this, we're probably going to have to switch out some of the champions and, you know, bring in less damage, essentially, because we've already done just an absolute crap ton there. So instead of, you know, Sun Wukong, will bring in Hoforhes. I'm just trying to remember if I have gear on these champions or not. I don't have much gear on him, which could be good. But, you know, we'll just kind of throw some crap on him here and see what we can get figured out. Just because later on I'll probably have to build him out anyways. So let's get some speed boots on him as well here. Something that's already at 16 would be perfect. So there we go. We'll bring him in. We may want to swap out Marius as well, just because Marius is going to be doing, like, insane levels of damage, right? So do I have gear on Basher? Not really. Gnarlhorn's missing some gear as well. Let's go ahead and see if we can get him geared up here, because obviously if we can, we'll be able to run him in here and then control the enemies, which will be obviously a lot better than not. So, you know, very, very complex take on the situation there. That's why you're watching the Gare Bear YouTube channel, is for informative content like that, obviously. Yeah, let's go ahead and try this. Marius, still with his A1, is going to be doing a lot of damage, so I think perhaps bringing in a Kemptum here instead of Marius is going to be the play, just considering that he can also help to put out additional poisons, obviously, is going to be very strong. Kemptum is just an absolutely insane champion. If you're not familiar with him, definitely recommend going ahead and checking him out. Very, very good. Obviously, Nishak here is doing some crazy things in terms of getting all those poisons out. Now, Lady Sanguinia is a bit problematic as well, because she has a stun now, so that's perfect. Let's go ahead and get an AoE decrease attack here. We have 4 poisons placed. We have more poisons placed. We should be able to get through this on the first wave, to be honest. Just depending on RNG, essentially. There we go. 18 poisons placed. A Kemptum is definitely going to be able to help us out with that. And then a Kemptum can come in here and just start spreading poisons around as well, as, you know, as soon as he starts getting a turn. Obviously, Lady Sanguinia is going to be annoying, but I think we do pop her off with the poisons here, maybe. We've already completed the poison placements. And then the nice thing about this, actually, too, is since it's Nishak, right? Nishak's placing the poisons, which means they're protected, which means that we don't have to worry about, like, Shaman or anyone else ripping them off, which is just, it's huge. So I definitely think if you did the Nishak fusion, he's probably going to be the easiest way to get through this. Sanguinia is dead. We just need to go ahead and smack down the Kaja. There we go. Now we do have our skills available here as well, and no weak hits coming in, so everybody here should pretty much just get clapped within the next turn. I'm going to go ahead and provoke, though, just to make sure. Go ahead and hit that AoE Hex. My Nishak isn't built incredibly well, so it is always possible, of course, that they don't, you know, get killed, as you've seen with the Astral on there, but everybody else is taking big damage, or they're just getting the poisons placed on them after, which is perfect. And then, obviously, Astralon is going to die on the next turn anyways. The Shaman almost got taken out there as well. Let's go ahead and just take her down. Well, we don't quite, but we'll spread some poisons around, which is perfect. AoE stun on us is very annoying. We'll go ahead and just keep cycling through here. The Sanguinia is going to go ahead and take all the debuffs, but, I mean, we still have the poisons on the enemy team, so we should be okay. Now, my Uko also does not have much on him in terms of gear, so we do have to be careful that he doesn't die at some point, but, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and A1 here. Make sure we take them out without issue. Just furious clicking until we get to the next wave. And then here we go. Boom. And then, so we do miss the bombs there. We also miss the cooldown reductions on some of them, but that's okay. This is why we brought a Kemptum as kind of a backup. It would be nice if my Hoforhes was faster than my Nishak, obviously, so that he could provide the increase attack before placing those bombs. But, I mean, realistically, it kind of is what it is, right? So, we got the A1 coming in there. We'll place the Unkillable on our Gnarlhorn, just so that we can make sure he doesn't die. Try to get a stun here. It'd be big on the cardio, which we do get. We still get the... Well, he gets cleansed, so that's a bit annoying. But he is dead, so that's perfect. Let's go ahead and smack here. Now it comes down to essentially just taking these guys out without any of us dying. So let's go ahead and also try to steal buffs. Perfect. Now we have the block buffs placed on them as well. We do still have a one-turn unkillable on the Gnarlhorn as well, so that should help to ensure that, you know, no freaky shit happens here. I should have used my A3 there with Nishak just so that he didn't get clapped, but it kind of is what it is. We can also revive with the Hoforhes. Could have also revived with the Uko, so we're not really sweating it, to be honest. And there we go. So there's a 3-star clear. We're on to the next wave, which is to place 10 plus stun debuffs. So if you have, obviously, Marius, this should be kind of just a giggle in the park for you because, you know, he places a stun on an enemy, plus he has an AoE A1, so he's going to be able to place essentially just, you know, a lot of control. Another fantastic option is going to be Ragash. Ragash does have an A2 where he has the decreased defense, as well as stun. Absolutely fantastic control champion. I kind of got on this guy's case before for not being like a top tier damage dealer, in my opinion, of course, but he is definitely going to be top tier for the control here. So we'll go ahead and see if we get an accuracy. We do have a Feral banner here. Let's go ahead and take this to... Oh, that hurts so much. I just seen 3 million of my silver get Thanos snapped. That is crazy, and we didn't even get it to 16. That is wild. Absolutely wild. Let's see if we have a crit damage with maybe a bit of accuracy on it here. That's going to be perfect. We'll switch over to the main pieces, and we're going to go ahead and hide set filters. Now, priority stats, we are looking for defense, right? He already has 248 accuracy, so accuracy is just going to be a low requirement. High speed, high crit rate is what we're looking for. And preferably, we'll get it from like Savage Set or something like that, right? Just so that he can do a little bit more damage. Granted, of course, like I mentioned, you know, the Skinwalkers faction is certainly not struggling for damage. So, I mean, even if we're not able to get Savage, that's going to be perfectly okay with me. But it looks like we're going to be able to, as long as I can find like a weapon or something from that gear set, which it doesn't look like I can. I don't see Savage anywhere. I do see Lethal. Quad roll on defense there is pretty swanky. We'll hide the helmet. Do I have a Savage weapon anywhere? It's going to be quite a shame if we're not able to put him in Savage. But I'm literally not seeing one. That is unfortunate. It would be very cool if Plarium gave us the option to filter by gear sets, right? Who's with me here? We want speed boots. Let's go ahead and put speed perception boots on them. That's perfect. So we're missing one piece off the Savage bonus, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, Ragash is essentially going to be a hard carry for this. We do have a decent amount of damage here as well, but I think we'll bring in a Sun Wukong because he can also help to place a stun on his A1. He can revive himself, and he's going to be relatively not tanky, so he's essentially going to be the target for the enemies, which is nice. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a stun here. No stun, unfortunately. We will get the provoke, we'll get the increased attack, we'll have Ragash go ahead and place stuns on everybody except Gorgorab. But Gorgorab obviously has, well, we don't need to worry about him anymore. He's not a problem. My Sun Wukong is probably my strongest built champion on my entire account. So, as you may imagine, he is a very strong, very strong candidate. And especially when you have, you know, decreased defense and everything like that already placed on the enemy team, he is going to do some work. And these are all just A1s that are hitting for over 100k, by the way. We haven't even used an A2 or an A3 from them yet, so let's go ahead and do that now. Boom. Hitting for like 142k. Let's go ahead and try to get a stun here, maybe. No stun, unfortunately. We will get the AoE provoke, though. I must say, so within this faction, Gnarlhorn, and then within the Dwarves, the Rockbreaker is just such a hard carry for this kind of content. It is absolutely crazy. We'll hit into the Prince Kaimar here just because I want a weak hit with the Sun Wukong to make sure that he doesn't clap cheeks too hard. We have 5 stuns placed already, so if we can get a stun on somebody else here, that'd be perfect as well. But so far, at least, it looks like we're not doing an incredible job of it. We do get a stun placed there. Let's go ahead and see if we can stun the Prince Kaimar. No stun, unfortunately. Do have the AoE here that we can use, though, get some more stuns placed. We're at 8, so this is perfect. And I mean, obviously it should go without saying, but Uko is a fantastic stun set champion, right, with the multiple AoEs inside his kit. AoE A1. There we have it. We have all the stuns placed that we needed, so we can just absolutely go ahead and slam these guys down now. Let's go ahead and hit the Kaimar there. No strong hits, unfortunately. But that should take us to the next wave. Yeah, the surplus damage there. Just double checking. Yep, we have all the stuns placed. Go ahead and get the block buffs. Go ahead and get the provoke. Nothing that y'all can do against this wave, really. Or not against this wave, but nothing they can do against me is what I'm saying here. We would want to go ahead and get the block damage there, but that's going to be it. Sun Wukong just takes everybody out. 400k hit. That's pretty crazy. On to the next wave. Manipulate, buff, or debuff duration 20 plus times. Few ways we can do this. We'd be looking for essentially buff manipulation on our side. So if I can find it here. I attack. Increase buff duration. We have the Panda that can do it. And then for decreased buff duration, we have the Panda and Marius that can do it. So this one's a bit problematic. There's a lot of buffs that can potentially come in from their side, though, so that's kind of perfect. So I think we'll go ahead and maybe run a team like this. Just because if Marius can come in after the Elva and everything like that takes her turn, we're going to be cooking, essentially. We'll try and get the AoE here. We do have some buffs placed up, which is perfect. We'll get the Unkillable on our Gnarlhorn. Really just looking to see if they can get the... I want them to get buffs. I want buffs on the team. There we go. That's perfect. So now Marius can come in and essentially just slam through them. He has his increased accuracy as well, which means that their increased resistance is just not really going to do anything. And we have already manipulated it 11 times. So now we just need to kind of hang out and wait until we get to the next wave and then do the same thing again. There we go. People in the clan chat are talking about the people that they're trying to go through this content with, essentially. So definitely a bit of a struggle across the board to get things done. I mean, it's kind of funny, too, because, like, you know, we had, obviously, this particular stage for a lot of the other factions was problematic, right? So, like, for example, Ogryn tribes trying to beat these Elvas and whatnot was just a pain in the ass, frankly. But being able to do this with a Marius and with, like, with the other champions, right? It's just in a world of difference, essentially. So there we go. We have the buff manipulation complete, so we can go ahead and just slam people into the ground here now. And that's going to be a relatively easy clear on all the stages of Skinwalkers 1 to 3 so far. So, Let's go ahead, get the A1 here. Obviously, having the Enfeeble placed on the enemies is absolutely ridiculous as well. If they can't even really, you know, hit us with any sort of damage, they're definitely not going to be hitting us with, you know, crazy damage, right? So the Enfeeble coming in here, everything weak hits. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Just a quick double check, but yes, we are good to go. And I'm curious who gets the final kill. It might be the Ragash here. It is. There we go. He takes him out. Perfect. So we've cleared all 3 stages of the Skinwalkers, actually in pretty decent time as well. Now we're on to Ogryn Tribes, one of the problematic factions. Manipulate buff or debuff durations 20 plus times. Now, really just an easy cheat code for this. You have a few options. So you do have Siege Hulk, who's able to come in here and do a... He did some sort of buff manipulation, I thought. Maybe not. Decreases the target's turn meter. Let's go ahead and just do a filter, because obviously we have Gerda Bogbrew, who is able to do, you know, crazy things. So we have no increased buff durations. We have a increased debuff duration. Is just stock. Oh, sorry. So Gerda's not an option, because she decreases their turn meter when they receive a debuff, but she doesn't do anything apart from that. So we're going to have to try to use stock with, like, minimal gear, not leveled up, not booked. Where is his instantly activates, 5% poisons, his passive, 25% chance of increasing the duration of all poison. Oh, that's not good at all, is it? This is a tough one. There's not many champions, especially on my roster, that are going to be able to do this. So we do have to ascend stock. We do have to put some gear on him, essentially. So let's go ahead and do this, right? We're going to do hide set filters, priority stats. We're going to do speed, accuracy, HP, and low resistance, medium defense is kind of what we're looking for. Fitting room, so we got that, we got that, we got that. Let's go ahead and get this, not a bad piece if I do say so myself, and we'll get that, that's perfect. Now let's go ahead and go to the jewelry and get kind of the same thing here. That's literally perfect. And we're looking for one of these bad boys. Sure, it has double roll technically of accuracy. Now let's go here. Get some speed boots on him of some sort. Speed boots coming from perception would be ideal. There it is. That's what we need. 220 accuracy. Not booked out or anything like that. We're going to have to hope that he can do some good things here. So let's go ahead. Go back to Faction Wars. Ogryn Tribes. We're going to go ahead and take you out. We are going to throw in stock. Use him as lead because he has the better aura. Now, I don't think my Bellower actually has any gear on him, so let me go ahead and change that as well, because we want our Bellower to be inside stun set. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that. I'm curious if we can actually make it, excuse me, make a decent stun set, which we cannot. We don't have boots, so we have to go ahead and grab the stun set boots, which will be coming from Infernal Baroness. I may not even have the silver to do this currently, which is something I'm now just realizing, so that's pretty crazy. We'll have to go ahead and grab some other pieces here. Stuff that's not on anyone else, preferably. Chest plate, sure, why not? I'm missing 99,000 silver, amazing. There we go. Let's go ahead and see if we can't just sell some pieces here. Not really too interested in that. Not sure why nothing's showing up on the set filters. Or on the filters, rather. That's kind of crazy. Am I just missing something here? What's going on? Okay. Not sure what Raid's doing, but that works, I suppose. That'll be enough money to get this switched over, at least. So now we have some CC in here. We have Claude as well. I think he can bring an increased accuracy. Yes, he does. We'll also go ahead and throw him into a cruelty just so we can get him decreasing some enemy defense. Why not? And then we're going to have Stalk, obviously, with his abilities. We're going to have Bellower with some CC. There's going to be some decent options here. Let's go ahead and try to get those poisons and whatnot placed. Try and get a decreased speed and some stuns from the Bellower. I don't want Shaman to get a turn, so if we can push her back at all, that would be great. Let's go ahead and try a push back here again. There it is. We get slammed. We do have to be careful as well because... So we've manipulated it 5 times now, which is not bad. But yeah, we do have to be careful because obviously Uko is just not able to revive like on command like some other revivers we may have. So she would have to wait for everybody else to die essentially. So it is important that we use our shields and stuff as we rotate through this, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and do this. Increased buff duration. We're at 12 times done, so Stalk is definitely going to be able to do it quite easily. Like, that's not going to be an issue. The issue is just if we can get it done while also surviving. The Bellower stuns and stuff like that are coming in quite easily as well. Okay, so that's not really going to do any sort of manipulation there, it doesn't look like. Let's go ahead and do this. We don't have any poisons out there, though, so there's technically not even anything for him to manipulate at the moment, which is kind of a shame. We do have Shaman back in the fight as well, which is a bit annoying, so I think we may just go ahead and try to blast this wave. Get some of them down, at least. Shaman's going to take a turn, which is just so annoying. Yeah, we can't really do that. It would be nice if he was booked, but, I mean, it kind of is what it is, right? So, I'm not going to invest books in this guy just for one stage of Faction Wars. But that being said, if he's continually useful inside Faction Wars hard, then that may be something that we want to look at, is building him out, obviously, right? So, you know. Now, the Shaman being here is going to be annoying because she places a revive on death and all that sort of garbage, but it does give us a chance to get back around to our skills, which is nice, I suppose. Stalk, I believe, was a previous fusion as well, so... You know, there is a very decent chance that a lot of players have him, which is good. Like, it gives us an option to actually be able to do this, because there wasn't really anyone else inside the faction that would have been a good candidate for this, I don't think. There we go. Now, this is going to be annoying here, but it kind of is what it is, I suppose. I'm going to get that turn meter boost. We're going to try and get those poisons, so that we can then manipulate their duration, try to get some stuns out here. Unfortunately, it didn't work. See if we can't whack the Opardon a little bit. I was hoping for some turn meter reduction on him there, just because I don't think he cleanses, but he does some annoying stuff. The Ethlin could be very annoying. Yeah, he cleansed basically everything. Stalk can still manipulate these poisons, though, which would be good. So let's see if he can do that. Nope, unfortunately not. We have some crazy buffs coming in from the enemy team here as well, which is just absolutely fantastic. Exactly what we want to see. We'll go ahead and keep whacking the Ursala as well. See if we can decrease our turn meter there. That's perfect, because she's one of the only ones still under a poison, which we could manipulate. But Stalk does sit down, unfortunately. Let's see. Is there anything else that we could do to make this a little bit easier? Well, we could bring in... perhaps a Ogryn, because Ogryn has heals and whatnot. And then additionally, he has the ability to obviously place more poisons as well, so he can go before Stalk, most likely, and get those poisons placed. And then he can also heal and cleanse Stalk and everything like that if needed too. So he is actually a little bit slower, I think, right? 217 versus 206. Yeah, so we'd have to get Ogryn a bit faster, but I really just don't think there's going to be a way to do that. So let's see if we can do this. We can maybe open with Stalk's A1 or something like that anyways. Get the block buffs down. Get the turn meter fills. Try to get some poisons out here. Now let's see if we can maybe get a stun. That would be awesome. On that annoying-ass Shaman, which we get a decreased turn meter. Another decreased turn meter. Stalk should be able to cycle a turn. We'll get a shield up here. Let's go ahead and do this. We don't get any manipulation. Let's go ahead and do this. I think he has decreased turn meter. Yes, he does. If she gets off a full cleanse, though, we're probably just going to have to go ahead and reset this as well, which she does, so that's very annoying. Oh my god. That's crazy. What is this rig to blow passive he has? Yeah, nothing really that crazy. Alright. Let's go ahead and try this. I'm honestly tempted just to push through the Ogryns if we even can. Just, you know, making sure we get the damage down, essentially. Go ahead and do this. Get some poisons out there. Get some more poisons out there. Of course, the Shaman is resisting it. Of course, the Shaman doesn't get stunned, even though almost everybody else on the team does. Of course, we get a cleanse. Try to push back the Shaman again. Again. Stock does take a second turn. We have the increased debuff duration, so that's good. Let's go ahead and do this. Doesn't really matter, though. Shaman's going to come in right away with a cleanse and a massive heal and all her annoying bullshit, so that's kind of fun. I think we'll go ahead and back out and try this one more time. And it may be a good idea to bring in just more DPS as well, so I'm kind of thinking maybe Grush. We do also have Blizzard who can do it. I believe, right? Try to place a freeze. Placing a freeze. Maybe not, but I don't think he's even really built, but he is a good hard CC champion. He's actually decently built. We could probably bring him in here to do like a freeze and whatnot and just bring that extra layer of RNG for CC. And see if we're able to make some crazy things happen. Of course, the Shaman is not getting frozen though, because why would she, right? Like that just wouldn't make sense. She's not getting any sort of a stun on her. She's getting literally nothing. Literally nothing. AoE freeze with like a 75% clip. We had a stun set that could have procced. Nothing. Nothing on her. There we go. Her and Kaja are now frozen. This should be the time when we're able to get this done. Let's go ahead and get all those poisons done. Let's go ahead and try to get the decreased speeds. Maybe some more stuns as well. Try to push back Neldor. We don't get the pushback, which is unfortunate. Let's get buffs up here as well. Obviously, Blizzard is also going to help us to sustain with his increased defense, ally protection, all that sort of good stuff. We'll hit here. Doesn't proc, unfortunately. We'll go ahead and do another hit. Do some turn meter pushback there. Try to freeze her would be perfect. Don't get it, though. We'll just keep whacking in here. We just need... we need Stock to take another turn so that he can try to manipulate those debuffs again. We're already at 7, though. Which, I'm going to be honest, I'm not entirely sure how we're getting it. But, you know, it is what it is. We're at 8 now, so there we go. Let's go ahead and whack into the Mistress. Let's go ahead and do this. If I could get a stun here on the Shaman, that would be perfect. That's big. We do get the stun. Let's go ahead and whack the A1 here. We do get it. We're at 14. Perfect. The Kaja potentially taking a turn is a bit problematic, so we'll go ahead and try to get some CC there. We get block active skills. Let's go for that AoE freeze. We don't land it on the Kaja, so she does get a little bit of a skill off there. We'll go ahead and hit the Mistress. We'll go ahead and whack the Kaja. We do still have the stun on the Shaman, which is perfect. Get those poisons up. Get some more freezes out there. Get a decreased defense and a stun maybe, which we don't land, unfortunately. Kaja will have her revive available, which is not, you know, the biggest deal in the world, but... there we go. We'll try to get some CC here. Shaman's going to get clapped as soon as she takes a turn because of the poisons, so that's perfect. Mistress is really the only one that can, like, bring her back, so I want to try and get some CC there as well if I can. Let's do this. No debuff manipulation there, it doesn't look like. So we're just going to have to go ahead and keep whacking essentially here. Keep whacking it. You know, as you do, as you do. And we have reached the target. So we do have to be careful though. Stock is very low. So let's go ahead and just try to get some more freezes here. Some turn meter pushback. AoE stun maybe would be perfect. We just need to get through the wave now, and then we are cooking. So there we go. Now we have the annoying ass wave. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some CC out here with our multiple attempts to do it. We'll go ahead and just try to do A1 here. We don't have any masteries on him. We'll get turn meter pushed back here. We're going to have to try for some sort of stunnage here, which we don't get. Try for another pushback would be great. We do get it. Try for a freeze. We do get it. That's perfect. That's perfect. Try for an AoE poison. We get poisons placed out there. More poisons, please. There it is. Let's go ahead and try to push back here as well, because she's going to boost if not. Go ahead and get a decreased speed out here, as well as some stuns would be perfect. We have some freezes going out. We'll hit there. Let's go ahead and whack with a decreased defense again. We do have the turn meter boost coming in from their side, obviously, which is very annoying. And then we get the cleanse into the massive amounts of continuous heals coming out. But I think we're still kind of cooking, because most of these are going to die once those poisons pop. Like Ursala should be gone. The Epic here is going to be gone. And I don't have Revive on Death or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. There we go. We do need to cleanse and heal. Let's go ahead and do this. There we go. We'll do that on our stock. They do have the block debuffs, which is somewhat annoying. And then obviously they do have big damage coming in from Opardin, apparently, because he just crit our stock, which is insane. Oh, that hurts so bad. That hurts so bad. We need to try and push back here. I don't think we even have the pushback, though. My goodness. Okay, okay, okay. Opardin, please just don't target the stock, and we are good. We don't have any CC. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? You know, why would he do anything else? Why would he target anyone else? You know, why would that happen? Why would he hit the Blizzard? You know? Why would he target the Bellower? You know, don't know. Why would he do that? I don't know. And, yeah, we may not be 3-starring this, in all honesty. I've kind of made peace with the fact that we're going to get to a point fairly soon where we can't 3-star some of the content, so I think this might be the first time that we get clapped. But if I can actually just get through this wave, I'll still be happy. We do have the annoying-ass Opardin out here placing the block debuffs and the continuous heals and everything like that, though, so as soon as Lysandra takes a turn, she's going to get a massive pump of healing. There it is. We get a turn meter boost coming in. He gets massive healing. Excuse me. Absolutely ridiculous waves, all things considered. Definitely considering building out stock as well. There we go. That's huge. As soon as he loses the block debuffs, we are fucking him. Without question. There we go. I need the freeze to land, baby. Blizzard doesn't have quite enough accuracy for these waves, it doesn't look like, but it is what it is. We'll get a continuous heal on our team, some damage out there. They do have decreased defense as well, which means that they're going to be, you know, taking a little bit more damage from us, which is good. Some more poisons out there. Blizzard, I need some freezes to land, but he doesn't, unfortunately. More stuns would be great, but it doesn't happen. And of course, we get massive heals coming through here. Absolutely ridiculous, all things considered. Oh boy. Oh boy. The other thing I can really maybe think of trying to do this is to bring Grush the Mangler. Yeah, I don't think we're even going to have the DPS to get through this, honestly. We're going to try to bring Grush instead of Ogryn. So we're going to do something like this. And try this one more time. Stock, when he's built out, is obviously a fantastic DPS as well because of like all the poisons and everything like that. So we kind of just need to stack up our CC here, though. Make sure that we can try and get through this. We have everybody CC'd now, which is perfect. So we can just go ahead and A1 in here on the Shaman, maybe. We have 6 manipulations already. As you can see, a lot better run so far with the CC. Try to get some freezes out here again. Let's go ahead and do this. Does he proc it? He does. So we got 7. Let's go ahead and try to get some turn meter pushback, which we do get. Go ahead and do this. No stuns, unfortunately. We'll go ahead and do this. Take some of them out just so that if and when the Kaja gets a turn, she goes ahead and does a revive. I'm fine if she revives, I think. We don't get any manipulation, unfortunately, so let's go ahead and do an AoE here. Stun or something on the Shaman would be perfect. Go ahead and do an AoE. A freeze, but it gets resisted. Pushback on the Shaman would be huge. We do get it. Let's go ahead and just do his A2, because why not? Go ahead and try. There we go. We got the stun. That's perfect. Go ahead and heal and all that sort of good stuff. Boom. There we go. Hit into the Yannica. Maybe take her down. Perfect. Let's go ahead and do this. I don't think... Yeah, we're at 9, so we'll have to try and manipulate our way through the next turn here as well. Or, like, through the next wave, most likely. We'll see how that goes. Well, Stock should actually be able to place his poisons now, yeah. So we'll place the poisons and then try to manipulate the duration of those. So we're at 11 so far. Block actives there is huge. There we go. Just keep whacking into them. Keep whacking into them. We don't get it proccing, so that's fantastic. We're at 13. Again, I don't know where most of the activations of this, like... of this is coming from. There's decreased turn meter. There's 14 apparently. We do get it to proc there as well, so we're at 15 now. He is no longer frozen, so we just need to make sure that he doesn't, you know, get through and do some crazy damage to us, essentially. Lots of RNG too, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's Raid Shadow Legends. It's RNG Shadow Legends. We know what we're getting ourselves into, right? Let's go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do that AoE. Hopefully a freeze. There we go. It looks like we landed a freeze on pretty much everybody that we're most interested in having the freeze on. Ursala obviously can place like a heal and whatnot, but not too worried about that. We can actually just go ahead and blast some people here as well. Not a heal, sorry. She can place an increased defense, and we weren't really worried about it because we have the block buffs up. So we get more freezes there, which is perfect. Let's get some poisons out. We're just worried about extra DPS, hopefully, at this point, as well as some more CC. Try to push back the Opardon there. The Grush should be enough of a difference for us to be able to get through this, so I think, fingers crossed, we get a Smite there, which is perfect. Let's just go ahead and go here again. I need some more damage, essentially, so let's see if we can't get this done. Decreased turn meter, but it's just not quite enough. Ursala's down, so that's perfect. We're going to get an AoE here, also perfect. Try to take out the Opardon. There we go. We're kind of cooking this time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we can essentially just A1 cycle into the Lysandra until everybody has their skills back for round 3, and we're actually doing this in a pretty decent time as well. As you can see, Grush actually does very competent levels of damage. I've been bouncing up and down on his baloney pole for like a while now, talking about how good he is, but he's like just absolutely insane because he brings damage, obviously. He brings heals. He brings everything you need on your team, right? Like, realistically, at the end of the day, he's crazy. And he's a free option. Everybody gets him, guaranteed, right? After a certain amount of days playing the game, and how much better can you really get than that? So, you know, something to consider, certainly. Now, we do have a Smite on the Lysandra. It should be enough to take her out regardless, but there we go. We're now on to Wave 3. Wave 3 is definitely still a bit annoying, so let's go ahead and try to get that freeze. We do land it almost entirely across the board, which is perfect. We get some poisons out there. We get some more stuns out there. We get some whacks. Let's just make sure. Yep, we've manipulated 20 times. Just need to make sure that this chick doesn't take a turn. Does get a turn meter fill out, which is a bit annoying, but we get a freeze exactly where we need it, so that's perfect. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this. A stun or something on Killian the Lucky here would be perfect, but we haven't gotten it yet. There we go. Just these two left. We should be able to handle business quite easily, it looks like. One more double check. Yep, we've still got the requirements here. I remember it was actually a struggle to get through like Faction Wars normal with Ogryn tribes as well. I was essentially just struggling to get like any sort of damage, so I did actually have to build Rush out for that. That being said, we now have land 40 plus hits on enemies while they're under leeches. So let's go ahead and filter by debuffs here, and we need leeches. So who can we bring? Well, we do have a Ugo who can place it on her A1. We have a Grush who can place it on his A1. We have an old Gruckus who can place it on his A1 as well. And then we have a Lorne who can place it on his A2. He's actually the only option inside the faction that gives you any sort of AoE leech, at least that I have on my account. And he's the only option on my account that has a decent chance of doing it, right? So with Grush, it's still actually relatively decent, quote-unquote, because it's a 50-50, basically, if he places it. So we'll go ahead and just get more poisons out here. We'll try to do this. Some CCs would be perfect. We'll go ahead and go into Eric's, because she's very tanky. So if we can get the leech on her, it's going to mean that we can just get tons and tons of hits on her, and we're not going to have to feel bad for it, right? So just something to consider there. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this. A stun on the Eric's would be perfect, though, or some sort of CC, because we don't really want her just, you know, clapping our champions. Just like so. This is the clapping that we talked about. Get a cleanse and some heals here, maybe. We do get a strip from the Madame, which is annoying. We have a Supreme Kale coming in with some fucking awful stuff. We're going to get an ally protection. We're going to go ahead and do maybe something here. Take her out, which is perfect. Do a little hit here. The Eric's counterattacks are going to be brutal to deal with, though. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a leech here. We can. Boom. We do take him out, though, unfortunately, so it doesn't really matter. A freeze here would be insane. But alas, we don't get it. We're lucky, though, because Blizzard does have a revive on death, but I don't think this is going to happen. Nope, stock falls, unfortunately. So, I think we change out stock, and I think we bring in Ogryn, maybe. Yeah, I think that's probably the best option, to be honest, because then we can get some poisons, some cleanses, and some heals and all that sort of good stuff out there. So let's go ahead and try that. Eric's getting the cleanse into the counterattack was absolutely brutal, so we do have a lot better RNG here this round with the CC, though, so that's perfect. Let's try to get a leech on Madame Saris, maybe. Doesn't look like it's wanting to happen, though. Try to get some more freezes here. Also doesn't happen. Decreased turn meter here would be perfect. Let's go ahead and get this up. We do get some control, but we don't get any leeches yet. No leeches even still. How do I have 2 hits against enemies under leech? There's nobody under leech. Am I crazy? Like, what's going on here? I don't understand. I have 2 hits, apparently. I don't get it. Whatever. That being said, obviously Grush is very good for this because his placement of leech is not predicated on affinity or anything like that. So, as you may have noticed, he can actually place it before he attacks, which means that he doesn't have to worry about if there's strong affinity or anything like that. He can still just place it, which is absolutely insane. Let's go ahead and just keep hitting here. We don't have a leech up anymore, so we do get it from the Ugo, rather, which is perfect. Go ahead and whack in here with our Grush. Now, things are not looking too pretty in terms of our side, so we need to try and get some CC out here. Get a decreased defense again. Get a freeze would be perfect. We don't get it. Oh, we still got them alive, though. Oh, 2 of them died, though. 2 of them died, though. We're not cooking, ladies and gentlemen. We're not cooking. Now, I think what you could probably do is come through and maybe beat it with, like, the requirements, right? And then come back through again and 5-star it. I don't know if that would count as a full clear, but, you know, it might be worth a try. We do have a leech placed. Ah, that explains it. So, I have the mastery on Belor that has a chance of placing the leech when he does certain things. So that explains it in his entirety. Let's go ahead and just keep hitting the Supreme Kale here since he has a leech on him. You could also try and hit the Eric's. She has a leech as well. It might be better, honestly, to try and get her out of the fight early on. Go ahead and get an AoE there. We do actually get a stun on the Golden Reaper as well, which is perfect. We have a better leech placed there. Let's just go ahead and whack some people down here. That means less DPS coming our way. We get the freeze there on the Eric's, which is perfect. We're going to get some turn meter push back there. Another decreased defense. They do strip us, which is annoying, but it is what it is. Their DPS is CC'd for the time being. So we have 15 while under leech. Go ahead and whack Golden Reapers now under CC as well. Another double hit there. We have 18 already on wave 1. We get a stun there on the Eric's. A freeze would be huge, but alas, we do not get it. We'll take out the Golden Reaper. That should count as a hit on somebody under leech too, because he placed it and then he whacked her, so that's perfect. We'll just keep hitting the Erics because the Madame Cerise is going to die to the poisons anyways, so not really too worried about that. We do still have leech on the Erics as well, so all of these hits are counting towards the goal of 40, which also means that if we're able to get to 40 on the first wave, we can essentially just whack through and not really care about the next few waves, which would be pretty awesome. So let's see if we can do that, essentially. Just keep whacking through here. Boom, boom, boom. Bunch of poisons on her, too, is nice. Means that she's going to take ticks of damage when it comes around to her turn, even if we're not doing much damage to her. There we go. Yeah, we have the 40 place, so that's perfect. Get the AoE there. Come on in, Grush. Get a big hit on her. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Going for a freeze there. That's perfect. She's so annoying, though, with the fact that she heals herself every time she's crit, right? Like, she just gives herself so much survivability that she has no business getting. There we go. Got another leech on her, ironically enough. Got to block active skills, too, so she's just going to be able to whack us with an A1 worst case scenario, which is not terrible. She should be clapped, though. There we go. Let's go ahead and do this. Block buffs. We'll try to get the AoE freeze as well, which we don't land really on. Wow, we didn't land it on Michelle. Let's go ahead and do this. Get the decreased attack on them as well as a stun. Go ahead and do an AoE whack. Go ahead and try to reduce some turn meter here. Perfect. Go ahead and try to get some more freezes. If we could do that, that would be awesome. Let's go ahead and do this. Some stuns coming in would be pretty awesome, but we don't get them, unfortunately. We do get some block active skills, though. Absolutely insane A1 from Belor, by the way, with a block active skills on a pretty decent land rate. That's, like, goated for this kind of content, especially considering that you can throw them in like a stun set or something like that on top as well, right? Like, look how often he's getting the block active skills. We can probably just start to A1 spam here. Should try to hit into the Gorgorab, actually, because he will probably have his revive available, but he's clapped. So yeah, we can just A1 spam into the Duchess until she's dead. She has block active skills. There we go. Grush goes ahead and smacks. And we're so close. We're essentially just making sure everybody's cooldowns are available for Wave 3. So here we go. Same kind of deal. I'm just going to try and get those AoE freezes, all that CC, all that good stuff, all that juicy stuff. Seeker's not really too much of a concern here unless he crits my team, obviously, which would be a bit of a shame. He does target Grush, though, so that's perfectly fine. We'll get the cleanse on the Grush as well as a heal here, I think. We'll go ahead and A1, try to get some extra freezes. We'll A1 here because she does have a revive, so just something to be aware of there. A2, decreased speed along with some stuns would be perfect, which we do get on the Candrafon. Candrafon is the most terrifying champion on this wave, I think, because he can, like, randomly crit and double hit and all those sorts of good things, so go ahead and do this again. Decrease defense as well as the block buffs, hopefully. And as you can see, Grush can actually place the leech on counterattacks, as well as attacks when he's provoked and all those sorts of good things. So he's goated with the sauce for a challenge like this, I think. Go ahead and keep whacking here. We have freezes on both of them. We're literally just waiting for enough damage to come through where we can kill them. We'll get some poisons up with Ogryn. Start taking off some extra HP ticks. Get some hits with Blizzard. Got a big smack there with the Ugo, actually, which is kind of funny. More poisons coming in. More whacks. Another big hit from the Ugo. She is pissed off with that Seeker. Alright, and then we now have to also manipulate turn meters 40 plus times. So, I don't recall if he can do this. Yes, he can also decrease the turn meters by 30%, which is pretty crazy. We could bring in Claude instead of him, but I don't think we're going to do that. This wave, I'll give a few tries here, but it does have a lot of, or not this wave, but this stage has a lot of crazy supports on it, so if I'm not able to do this fairly quickly, I think we'll go ahead and end the video. But you'll have an idea of my team that I'm going to use to go through it anyways. We already got 3 manipulations happening here. Go ahead and just whack. Try to get them down to lower HP. We should have like Evil Eye on some of these champions as well, which will certainly help there. So we have 7 manipulations already. Go ahead and do this. We got some stuns there, which is perfect. Get the Evil Eye proc on her as well. We have a massive heal come in, which is a bit unfortunate, but we'll go ahead and whack again. A1 here. Try to get some crazy coming in. We have 14 manipulations on wave 1. Should be able to do it quite easily. There's going to be a massive AoE, so we have 19 now. We'll get the decreased defense up as well. We do also have the smite there, which took them down quite nicely. Try to get a freeze here would be perfect. Try to get a nice little whack in here. Decreased defense, but we didn't do much damage, unfortunately. We get a stun on her, though, which is perfect. Let's see. Freeze there is perfect. We're at 27 so far. We'll get a cleanse just because we had some decreased accuracies across the board, which is not something that we want. Decreased turn meter coming in there as well. Try for a decreased turn meter here. We do get resisted, unfortunately. Should have been trying for more CC here because she has her turn available. But yeah, we should be okay. And let's just keep trying again here for the turn meter reduction. We're at 33 though, so I think we're cooking. We should be able to do this really without issue. There we go. We sit down the Oella. We get decreased turn meter there. We're just going to A1 cycle, make sure that we have all our skills available for the next turn. And there we go. We do have to deal with Elva on wave 3 as well, which is going to be annoying, obviously, so there's something to remember there. We do have 35 manipulations. What I've noticed is it doesn't look like our Blizzard has enough accuracy to really be making this happen for the most part, which is annoying. But that being said, we don't have any sort of a reviver apart from this chick on this stage, so we should be okay to essentially just come through and blast them over time. Getting a freeze there would be nice, but alas, it does not happen. We're at 39 manipulations. We're at 40 now, so we can just go ahead and blast some people down. And hopefully we actually have the DPS to do it, and hopefully they don't have the DPS to whack us out. Let's go ahead and try to get a decreased speed. We also get a couple of stuns there, which is perfect. We get a freeze, which is also awesome. Let's go ahead and get that AoE. We get them nice and low. Get a decreased defense block buff. So let's go ahead and cleanse and heal our Bellower. He was looking a little sketchy. Let's go ahead and whack in here. Let's go ahead and get an A1. Block active skills there is actually perfect. We're going to go ahead and protect as well. Go ahead and take out their reviver. Perfect. The Duden is going to be kind of annoying because of his ability to remove debuffs. We actually may need a bit more accuracy on our Ogryn for this as well. Ogryn and Blizzard were built for like regular dungeon content, so it's, you know, possible that they just don't have the stats needed to get through this essentially, but, you know. Go ahead and try to keep landing some freezes here. We'll get some poisons around if we can. There we go. We'll go ahead and whack into the Oella here maybe. I kind of want to take her down just so that we don't have to keep dealing with the increased resistances as well as the heals that she puts out, which are very annoying. Let's go ahead and try to get that AoE freeze, which does not land. We'll heal and cleanse our Blizzard there. I want to take out the Kimmy as well. She's going to die automatically to the poisons, though, which is perfect. We'll go ahead and hit the AoE here. Now it's just the Duden left, who it is going to take a while, but I think we pretty much just A1 spam into him to take him out. And then we hope for good RNG. Oh, now he has a counterattack. Great. Now we hope for RNG on the next wave. Really hoping for a freeze here from the Blizzard. That would be perfect, which we don't get, unfortunately. Just because the Duden's able, as you can see, to remove debuffs from himself. The counterattack is really annoying. Thankfully, he doesn't have any sort of like crazy, you know, heal or you know, just ridiculous things like that on his A1, but still very annoying. There we go. We get the freeze on him. Make him miss his turn. Just going to keep whacking him here, essentially. He shouldn't be too much of a threat to our team. He is obviously, you know, doing some damage over time to us. There we go, though. That should be pretty much game over, as well as speeding up this run. I don't know if you can hear the clicking, probably not, but I'm just mashing the left mouse button while we try to get to the next stage. We have perfect... okay, we don't have too much land in terms of CC from the Blizzard, and then we do have the Elva that's able to go ahead and cut in and cleanse, so that's a bit crazy. A bit crazy, certainly. We have a whack come in there from the Grush, but he's not able to do much, unfortunately, because they all have, like, you know, lock debuffs and whatnot. The Ruella's cut in and turn meter boost, and we get clapped by the Ruella. So, let's go ahead and put this on auto. I'm perfectly okay missing the 3 stars on this. Can always come back for it. I doubt we're actually going to be able to beat it for this with this particular team, but you know what, we'll actually just go ahead and end it. I'll try to do this on my own time. That's going to conclude the video here for today, though. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the builds real quick, as always. So let's go ahead and go by recently used first. If you need in-depth builds for this, feel free to hop into my Discord, link down in the description, and I'd be certainly happy to share there. Apart from that, though, of course, if you're wondering about the gear on any of these champions, just go ahead and pause the video when I show you them, and you should be able to replicate that pretty easily. So, as always, 2 channel memberships are live. If you want to support the channel, go ahead and take a look at the join button down below. That being said, though, thank you guys all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.